Yeah, so welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, episode 243. And man, today what we're gonna talk about is what hold on. What we're gonna talk about today is damn, I can't even bring my words, can't even bring myself to say it. What we're gonna talk about today is the fact that, or is knowing your worth and knowing what what you're willing to tolerate, right? Mind you, this isn't a shot at anybody or whatever it is, but trust people and believe them when they tell you certain things, right? Um, don't think that don't think that somebody's fucking around with you or he or she's fucking around with you when they say certain things, because that's reality. If most people are saying it, that means they were thinking it, for an extended period of time. And have people leave you alone who don't know what they want, and that includes friendships, that includes relationships, that includes situationships, that includes any type of situation where you're left wondering what this is, right? I'm not saying that these people are bad people, but they bad for you. I once had a friend. She made all these bad mistakes over and over and over again. And instead of her taking accountability, instead of her saying like, "Oh damn," but like, why does this shit keep happening? Like why does I keep getting in the same situations with the same people? And I point blank told her it's because like, yo, it's like you don't know your worth. It's tied to whatever it is. You look for validation. You do X, Y, and Z, and it's like you don't get external validation. Doesn't last. It shows that you're not confident. It shows that you don't have any self confidence or any self esteem. And like, I'm not even gonna begin to talk about boundaries and everything like that too, because boundaries are important. Boundaries aren't for the other person. Boundaries are for you, right? The difference is that a lot of people will put up walls instead of boundaries, you know. And I think that's healthy in any relationship, because I'll be quick to tell people like, "Hey, dog," I'm sorry, I can't do that for you. Or like, if I'm always available, you know, that's a problem. Because there are days where it's like I don't pick up the phone, I don't call people back, I don't text people back. Yeah, I don't do a lot of shit. So it is that. I've never been one to block and unblock people. It happened once where I was like, I blocked this individual from my phone, and I'm like, bro, why are we doing this? This person, they ain't talking to you. They ain't doing X, Y, and Z. You just leave her unblocked. So when I unblocked her, because my thing is like, unless you bugging me, unless you doing X, Y, and Z, there's no reason for me to like ever communicate with you. Like every once in a while, I'll go through my phone and I'll be like, well, I ain't talked to this person in a minute. Okay, I'm gonna delete their number. Or like if I consistently have to reach out to you, with anything, all the time, and you never hit me back or you never do X, Y, and Z, I don't have any room for you in my phone. Social media, a different thing too, man. It's like I don't, I was accused of doing X, Y, and Z. I'm like, no. I said no. I ended up blocking that individual because I didn't want to see what they were posting, and the fact that they, that they thought we were cool and we wasn't. And it was a whole bunch of shit that happened. I'm not gonna get into detail with it because that's so far gone. You know, it's such an old issue because it is. Like, and I think if you're not secure with yourself, you're not secure with what you have going on, it's like you have a tendency to fall back in the same patterns and same situations, same everything, right? And it's true, you do. Regardless of what people tell you, regardless of what you think is going on, it's like everybody falls into the same type of patterns, right? And a lot of people will mask things simply because they're getting attention, they're getting sex, whatever it is, right? Attention and sex, two biggest things, you know. Um, and that fucks a lot of people up, you know. A lot of people won't admit this, but that fucks them up, you know. They're not gonna sit there and say, "Oh, yeah, boom, 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 boom," yeah. But at the same time, it's like they're not gonna talk about what they did in that situation that caused people to get disrespected, right? And a lot of it has to, you know, like you don't have to sit there and like you don't have to play the blame game and you don't have to do X, Y, and Z because it's not worth it. We're all grown, you know. We all know what we doing, you know. And if you want to lie to yourself, go ahead. My father told me once, and I'll never forget it. And as I get older, I'm realizing that he was the way that he was is simply because he was trying to prepare me for life after him. Anyway, he used to always say, "Man, you can lie to yourself." I mean, well, he goes, "Man, you can lie to other people, but once you start lying to yourself, that's how you know you got issues." And it's true. Number one, I think lying is a mental disorder. Because I tell people all the time, it's like, look, I may bullshit people, but I'm never going to lie to you. Like, you ask me what the fuck is up, I'm going to tell you. And my thing, too, is like, I run into a lot of situations, you know, where people are telling me X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, well, like, okay, this individual is free to do what they want. They don't owe you an explanation. They don't owe you anything, you know? And it's like, and they're like, what? It's like, yeah, it's like, unless you guys were going steady or whatever it is, and even if you guys are, you know, are having sex, unless there's no commitment there, then what are you doing? You know? You can't get mad at X, Y, and Z. Or you can't get mad when somebody disses themselves because it's like, yo, it's like, it is what it is. You can sit there and make assumptions, do X, Y, and Z, and it really doesn't matter. And what matters is the fact that people have to understand that what they go through and how they go through it affects everybody. I've never been one to sit there and say, "Oh yeah, all this crazy shit happened to me, all this X, Y, and Z shit happened to me," and I'm like, and not say what the other person's role was, right? Now, I'm not saying that I'm gonna sit there and like not take accountability, not do X, Y, and Z. I don't want to say that I'm never going to spin the block, you know, on people, because I'm gonna wish you well. I really am, but I'm not gonna be there for you in the capacity that you want me to be in. I can't be that for you, you know, and that's me knowing my worth. And that's what it is, man. You have to understand that it's okay, you know, that people gonna fuck up, people gonna do X, Y, and Z, and it is what it is. It's not something that's it's not something that people gonna get right, you know. And nobody is immune to not fucking up. Everybody does X, Y, and Z. Everybody doesn't know how to communicate properly in situations. It's like, and while boundaries are important, you know, you can't expect somebody else to respect your boundaries when you're constantly disregarding your boundaries too. I hate that when people be like, "Oh well, so and so disrespected my boundaries." I'm like, okay, but why are you still calling and texting them? They're like, what? Yeah, like why are you still doing that? If such and such is such a bad person, why the fuck are you still talking to them? Why are you still engaging with them? You know why? Because you love the intention. Like you need another resource because all your resources are gone. Tell me I'm wrong. That's the only reason why people do what they do. Um, People can sit there and speculate and do all this other extra shit, but in reality, it doesn't matter. In reality, is like what it comes down to. A lot of people lack boundaries. A lot of people seek validation from outside sources because they lack the validation from themselves, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that when you bring it to them real, when you bring it to them in a way that they need to hear, and a lot of it is not sweet, it's not soft, it's like, yo, this is what it is. This is the situation. This is what you're doing. And when you bring up people's behavior to them, they don't fucking like it. I've literally had people tell me, like, I gotta walk away from this, well, like, you're this, you're that. I'm like, all I did was bring up your behavior. How is me bringing up bringing up your behavior a reflection of me? And a lot of people, and mostly women, they lack the ability to be self-accountable. And I've literally had people tell me that shit, and most of it is women too. And I'm like, okay, how can you lack self-accountability, but you expect other people to, you hold other people to be self-accountable? It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's stupid, and it's dumb, because it is. I think that's the most idiotic thing that you can do is hold people to a standard that you can't even hold yourself to. That's like me saying, as a former competitive bodybuilder, oh yeah, so-and-so's out of shape, so-and-so here. So it's like, bro, you're a former competitive bodybuilder, my boy, you're not even in shape. You can't even see your abs, dog. What are you talking about? Again, self-accountability. And so it is that. And it's like, it's so weird, bro. It's so weird that a lot of people, they don't know their worth. They think it's tied to sex or whatever it is, and it's like, in reality, it's like, it's not even tied to that. I had somebody ask me once, why do you want to be with me? And I said, number one, you saw me for me. You keep seeing me for me. And that right there speaks volumes to me, than anything else would ever be, You treated me as an individual, as a person. You never once saw the disability. You saw me in my most scared moments, and you still stayed. And that to me speaks volumes. I don't care what other people say. I don't care what other people do. It's just that. Yeah. And I think that's important. But what's also important is to know when to leave the situation, and to know when, your time's up. Because I'm a big believer of outgrowing people. I've always thought that it was strange when a lot of people have the same friendships for over 20 some odd years. Now, I'm not saying all your friendships are like that, but I'm like, damn, you never met anybody new? You never met anybody else who challenges you like that? All your friendships are from 15, 20, 30 years ago? It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that you haven't met nobody new, in that time frame, right? It's kind of weird how you're still hamstrung to, all this extra shit, right? And believe it or not, man, a lot of people will sit there and they will um, make excuses for their friend's shitty behavior. They'll make excuses for people setting boundaries. And I was told recently, like, oh yeah, well, I lost friendships, this and this and that. I'm like, no, you didn't lose friendships. It's like they were just being honest with you, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know. Regardless of the fact that you're going through that situation and whatever it is. If somebody's been honest with you and like they're telling you all this other shit, and my thing is like, number one, you don't need to know everything. What goes on in somebody else's life is none of your concerns for the most part, unless they want to tell you, and go ahead and tell you. Because as a man, it's like we share everything, with people, right? Time, money, everything, right? And sometimes it's like you just want something that just for yourself. And I had this individual tell me something, and they're like, "Well, I don't understand why they didn't tell me X, Y, and Z." I'm like, they don't have to tell you. You don't need to know, because you're just a friend, And regardless, and like, so they're telling me all this stuff, and I say, look, and it's like, if it didn't work out with them, with that other person, that's fine. But everybody else has their reasonings for it, right? And you don't have to sit there and try to figure things out. You like, because you're gonna drive yourself crazy. And I'm a firm believer in that. You don't need to have everything figured out. Not everything has to make sense. You could be like, oh, okay, oh well, and that's that. By you sitting there trying to figure things out in a situation that doesn't concern you is pointless. It's extremely pointless to do that. I've never understood that. I've never understood how you're gonna get so engrossed with somebody else and their issues that you fail to realize that it's not your problem. It's like I got friends, they sleep around, they do X, Y, and Z, and they single, because that's what they do. And me being recently single too, there's that. I for one, I don't really do the online dating thing. I think like, I don't really do the whole hookup culture, right? Because everybody wants to talk about, yeah, hookup culture this, hookup culture that. I'm like, yeah, but if all you do is hit it, the first time you link up, you smash. The second time you link up, you smash. Third time you link up, you smash. It's like, there's no emotional connection behind that, And I think that's what it is, man. It's like people equate sex, the physical act of sex, as some sort of emotional connection. It's like, no, it's not, And I think, like, number one, if people who keep doing that, like, that's something that you have to figure out as to why you keep doing that, because it's not fair for you to, even if you're telling the other person, oh well, if we do X, Y, and Z with you, or yada yada yada, don't expect a relationship out of it. I'm like, but if all you're doing is kicking it with them, hanging out with them, and fucking them, then where's your self-worth in that? You can't get mad when somebody catches feelings, because people they're gonna catch feelings. It's really fucking simple. You can't spend that much time with somebody. You can't be sleeping with somebody and not catch feelings. It's idiotic to think that. And if you're 30 plus and still sleeping around, still doing X, Y, and Z, then you need to get it together, because like there's something mentally wrong with you. The fact that if it's almost like people who do that, like, you're okay with it, just having sex, but something scares you about a relationship, and you got to figure out. You have to figure that out, because, like I said, like, it's unfair to the other unto the other person that you keep doing this shit. I don't care who it is. And regardless of the fact of People love to say, but I told you. Yeah, but things change, feelings change, people change. Everything changes. What you told me 5 years ago, you know, is it going to be the same thing today? And it'd be foolish to think that it is. So yeah, there's that. So I think knowing your worth and understanding that, yeah, while it sucks, well, you don't want to lose certain things and certain people. Um, it's imperative to to learn how to walk away from it, because not everything needs your attention. Not everything needs to be solved by you. Some things you just got to be like, well, I'm sorry you're going through that, because I am. But I ain't got shit to do with me. So, alright, y'all, this is about 21 minutes of your life that y'all won't get back. Hope y'all keeping it 4Ps. Private player, positive pushing. I'll see y'all next week, Sunday. I love y'all. And like I always say, know your worth because you're better than what you are. Alright, y'all. Peace. Be easy. Have a beautiful Sunday. Oh, yeah, by the way, football's back. Peace.